evenly worn across. It has at least 4/32 tread. Okay, and I use a tread gauge. The face of the tire has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. My valve stem is straight in center. It has a metal cap. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. My rims have no wells other than factory wells. They're not cracked, broken, damaged, or dented. My lug nuts, they're all in place. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. If it was a rust, that would indicate a loose lug nut. My hub oil seal, it is bolted securely. It has no loose or missing parts. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. And if it were leaking, you would see a spray pattern. Now we're gonna go to this side because we're gonna talk about our steering. This is my gearbox. It is bolted securely. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. All the hoses leading to it are not kinked or leaking. My steering shaft is straight in center. It has no loose or missing parts. It has no debris. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, or bent. My steering linkage consists of my pivot arm, my drag link, and my tie rod. They're not cracked, broken, damaged, or bent. And my castle nuts and cotter pins are not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are clean. This concludes under the hood. My hood latch is in good condition. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and it latches securely. Moving on to the side of the bus, you see that my service door is intact. The seal, it is not cracked, broken, or damaged. My windows are all clean. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. My hinges and bolts are in place. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. You'll see later that the door works properly. My step light and my curb light are the proper color. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are clean. My handrails are bolted securely from the top to the bottom. It has no loose or missing parts. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. My step tread is in good condition. It is not lifted, which could cause a trip hazard, and it's not worn dangerously thin. And it's bolted securely. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. Moving on to the side, I have my 3 clearance lights and my 3 reflectors. They're both in front of the dual tires, they're amber. In the back, they're red. My turn signals and hazards are not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're the proper color. They're not cracked, broken, and they're the proper color. They're clean. Same as my clearance lights. They're the proper color. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are clean. My tape around my emergency exit windows. My reflective tape all around. It is not lifted. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are clean. All my windows are not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are clean. My def cap is tarred securely. My little door, it is secure in place. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they're clean. My school bus sign and my KDISD sign are clean. They're not lifted, and they're readable, and they're not cracked, broken, or damaged. Going to the bottom of the bus. My drive shaft is straight and center. It has no loose or missing parts. It has no hanging wires or hangers. And the U-bolts are not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they're not bent. Going to my exhaust system. My exhaust system has no loose or missing parts. It has no hanging wires or hangers. The hangers are intact. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. And there is no soot pattern, which would indicate a hole. And if the bus was running, I would check for excessive noise. My frame is in good condition. It runs from the front to the back. It has no illegal welds. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and no indication of rust. Okay. Going to the back. My tires are dual tires. They have space, but no spacer or debris in between them. Going into my suspension. This is my front spring mount. You cannot see my back, but my back spring mount would be around here. My U-bolts and my spring leaves are not cracked, broken, or damaged. They're bolted securely, and my springs are not shifted. Going into my shock absorber, if you could see it, it's on this side of the frame. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. It is bolted securely, and there's no indication of leaks. Going into my brakes. If you could see my brake lines and hoses on this side, you would see that they're not cracked, broken, or damaged, or leaking, and they are tied down securely. Going into my brake chamber. It is clamped securely. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, or leaking. Next to it would be my push rod and slack adjuster. They're not cracked, broken, damaged, or leaking, and if I were to chock the wheels and release the brakes, it would not move more than 1 inch. If I were to remove the dust cover that's behind this wheel, you would see that my brake drum linings are not worn dangerously thin. My brake drums are free of oil, grease, debris, dents, and holes. Should be in the back. Okay, now moving on to my tires. My tires are evenly worn across. They must have at least a 2/32 tread. That you will see that on both of them. Okay. The face of the tire has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. My valve stand is straight and centered and has a metal cap. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged. If I were to check the tire pressure, I would use a tire pressure gauge. My rims have no welds other than factory welds, and they're not cracked, broken, damaged, or dented. My lug nuts, they're all in place. Has no loose or missing parts. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and there's no indication of rust, which would indicate a loose lug nut. My axle seal, it is bolted securely. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and there is no spray pattern, which would indicate a leak. Going into the back. My airbag has top and bottom air mounts. It is bolted securely to the frame. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, or leaking. My splash guard or mud flap, it is bolted securely. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, in good condition. Moving into the back, we have our fuel tank and cage. They are bolted securely to the bus. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, or leaking. Going into my fuel cap, it is on tight. There's no leaks. The door itself opens freely and it latches correctly, and it's not cracked, broken, or damaged. I'm going to the back of the bus. The back of the bus, I have my 5 clearance lights, 3 at the top, 2 in the corners, my amber warning lights, my red loading lights, my turn signals and hazards, my tail lights and brake lights, my backup lights, my other brake light, my reflectors, and my reflective tape. They're all in the proper colors. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are clean. My school bus sign, reflective tape, it is readable, it is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and it's clean. If I were to open the door, or if the bus was running, the alarm and light should sound on the door. You can see that my bolts and hinges are in place. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they're secured. My windows from the inside has a seal. It's not lifted, it's in good condition. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged, and the windows are clean. My seal on the door, it is not cracked, broken, or damaged, and it's securely placed. If I were to open my door all the way, it will lock in place and then release. My plate light, it's bolted securely to the bus. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, in the proper color. My tailpipe, it's in good condition. There's no indication of rust. Moving on to the other side of the bus, I would check this side in the same way I did the other side, except for 3 unique items. My stop arms, they have the proper color lens. It is bolted securely to the bus. It is not cracked, broken, or damaged, as you can see, and it has no loose or missing parts. And later on, you'll see that they work properly. I would check the other stop arm the same way I did this one. Here I have an empty compartment. It has no loose or missing parts. It opens freely, and it's not cracked, broken, or damaged. Going into my battery compartment. Its hinges work. It opens freely. It's not cracked, broken, or damaged. And my battery, it is securely mounted and has no indication of corrosion. My fuse panel, the hinges of the door work properly. It has no loose or missing parts. And my fuse box has no, we don't carry extra fuses, and there is no indication of frayed wires or smell of burnt. Okay. This completes my outside. Now, can you please check my outside lights? So here the examiner is going to stay outside, and they're going to inspect our outside lights. Okay? First of all, you will put on your seatbelt. Turn on your bus. Open your window. Here's where you're going to scream out so they can hear you from the outside. When you turn on your headlights, you want to scream out, "Headlights and clearance lights!" So they know that you've turned on your headlights. You go, left turn signal, right turn signal, hazards, high beams, amber warning lights, red loading lights. As the examiner comes across you, you would tell them, as you can see, my stop arms are working. And you would close the door. Now the examiner will be in the back, and you're going to do the same process. Left turn signal, right turn signal, hazards, brake lights, reverse lights, amber warning lights, red loading lights. In this moment, the examiner will come in. You wait for them to come inside. They're inside. You would go ahead and turn off your bus, but make sure you turn off your master flasher first. Turn off the bus all the way to the left. You tell the examiner, I'm going to turn off my alarm. Here is where you would start talking about your interior. These are your passenger items. Your passenger items start with your service door. But in the full, we already talked about the steps and your handrails. But if you did not talk about them before, this is the time you would talk about your service door. It's intact, has no loose or missing parts. The hinges are in place. All your windows are clean. They're not cracked, broken, or damaged. My handrails are bolted securely to the bus. It has no loose or missing parts, and they're not cracked, broken, or damaged. My step tread is not lifted, which causes a tripping hazard, not dangerously worn thin, in good condition, and it's bolted securely to the bus. And then you would talk about your first aid kit. It has 24 box bandages, 3 emergency contacts, and an insurance card. Your body fluid cleanup kit is in good condition. It's fully stocked. I have my 5-pound fire extinguisher that is bolted securely, it's bolted securely to the bus, and it is rated, dated, and charged. And you will see here that it's in the green. Okay. And in the back of the bus, behind my seat, sorry, I have 3 reflective triangles. And we do not carry extra fuses or flares. Now I will go to the side and I will explain. The frames of my seats are bolted securely to the bus. The cushions are secured to the frame, and the backs are secured to the frame. They are not cracked, broken, or damaged, and in good condition. And as you can see, I would check the others the same way I did these.
Linda, are you ready? No, give me a
My
minute.
emergency door has the emergency sign. It is clean and clear. My windows from the inside, all of them are not cracked, broken, or damaged. And as you can see, my emergency door opens easily and the alarm sounds. Okay. I will check now my roof hatch. You will see that it opens easily and the alarm sounds. I will check the other roof hatch the same way I did this one. My emergency exit windows are marked and it's clean. And you can see my window opens easily and the alarm sounds. I will check the other 3 windows the same manner I checked this one. Now I'm ready to perform a safe start. My driver's seat is bolted securely to the frame of the bus. My seat belt, it is not frayed or damaged, and it latches properly. Now I will conduct the safe start. My parking brake is set and my gear is in neutral. As you can see, my ABS light comes on and will promptly go off. My gauges, my DEF gauge reads more than half a tank. My transmission gauge will read between 190 to 200. My water temperature will read at 190. My oil PSI will be between 40 and 60. Going into my voltmeter will be between 12 and 14. My fuel is more than half a tank. My front and rear air brake gauges will read between 120 and 125, with the governor cutting off at 125 with a swish sound. Going into my indicators. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Hazards. High beams. Amber warning lights on both sides. Red loading lights on both sides. Check my windshield wipers. On high and low, and there's fluid on them. Also want to add that my mirrors are adjusted to me, so I'm able to see the traffic and students in front of me, including my student mirror, which will allow me to see from the back to the front. Now I'm checking my back alarm sounds. My horn works. Going into my panel. My driver and student dome lights work. My heater defroster works on high and low. My fans work on high and low. Okay, this completes this part. Now I'm ready to perform my brake test. I will put my gear in drive, press the accelerator. My parking brake holds. I will release my parking brake and move. My service brake works. It then pulls to the left or to the right and it stops smoothly. Go ahead and, for the sake of this, I'm going to go back, okay? Now I'm going to check for air leak. I will go ahead and turn off my master flasher. turn it off. Turn off your bus. Turn off your headlights. And I'm going to turn off my alarm. Okay. I will take the keys with me. Open my door. Chock my wheels. You don't want to chock them too close to the wheel. Just give them a little space. Okay. You would go back inside. Sit down. Put on your seatbelt first. Put your key once to the right. Okay, now I will release my parking brake while pressing on my service brake. After the initial drop, I should not lose no more than 3 psi in 1 minute. Once that needle stops moving, I will tell the examiner I'm starting my minute now. At this moment, you want to take time to think, reflect, make sure you didn't forget to say anything. Because remember that this pre-trip does not complete until you say, this completes my pre-trip. So at this minute that you have, you want to make sure that you're thinking, going through everything, make sure you didn't forget to mention anything. We like for you to do it for 65 seconds, so 1 minute and 5 seconds. And keep an eye on the needle too. Make sure you didn't lose any more pressure anyways. And you make sure you show the examiner that it's been more than a minute. So I tell the examiner it's been 1 minute and 5 seconds. I have not lost any pressure. Now I'm going to fan my brakes. Before reaching 60 psi, my alarm and light will come on. And between 20 and 40, my spring brake will pop out. My spring brake popped up. Now I'm going to tell the examiner I will start my bus to build up pressure back to maximum capacity. So I'm going to go ahead and rev it up. Don't go over 15 RPMs. Try to keep it steady if you can. So you're going to build up pressure until you hear the swish sound.
Under the light. South to Sandra. 31.
I built up pressure. This completes my pre-trip. That's it.